Thank you for joining today. I'm Raj Sundar, Senior Director of Product Management at Xthings. Unlike the last two presentations you heard, which were deep dive technical, and this is not. This is more about technology. Okay. So Smart Access 2.0 is about the next generation of entry systems, where artificial intelligence, ultra-wideband precision, and Aliro standards that are coming up, how they converge to transform how we unlock doors. Okay. So how these technologies are redefining entry, and that's what I'm going to explore in this presentation. To start with, let's start with a bold statement here. The future of access isn't about keys anymore. It's about intelligence, it's about context, and it's about secure and seamless experience. And I'm going to show you how these technologies are shaping up, that's going to, where we are going to achieve that secure, seamless experience for our end users. And as a smart lock vendor, that's our goal. That's where we want to get. Okay. So in that context, we'll look at some of the consumer expectations that are evolving, and the technology convergence in terms of these three, AI, ultra-wideband, and Aliro standards. And also, what is Z-Wave's role? How do we play as a Z-Wave community? How do we play in this, right? And some market data, trends, and use cases, and then some strategy ideas as to where we go from here. Okay. So what do people want? So what do people really want? They want intuitive access, and they don't want to fumble for keys, and they don't want to remember the PIN codes anymore, right? So they don't want to remember. So they want the locks to recognize you as you approach and unlock, right? So that's the experience that's what they want, right? So just to take a cue from how many of you have a car where you still use a remote control to unlock? Very few times, right? So most of you, walk with a key, walk up to the car, and it unlocks, right? So and this experience, this passive key experience, was perfected long ago with a combination of RF and LF. And then when the consumer started demanding, I need to have these keys on my phone, and that's where the industry started looking at it. And ultra-wideband was priming at the time in terms of what it can do in terms of precision. And the Car Connectivity Consortium was formed, and we know that multiple OEMs have already adopted, and you can actually use your iPhone as a key today. So you can the same experience like you have with your passive keys, you can walk up to a car and it unlocks the door, right? So we can do that with our smart locks. So that's essentially what consumers are expecting. And we see that all around with the consumers. The other thing is they also want the convenience. Sometimes, the biometric fingerprint locks are so popular because you don't need to carry an app, you don't need anything else. I'll just, tap my finger and get in, right? So these are very popular. That's one of the popular locks that we sell from our side. And NFC, and thanks to user credential command class, we'd be able to support them on Z-Wave, right? And the other thing is they want this to be connected, so they want remote access. So they should be able to unlock the doors from anywhere they want, and also connected to whatever ecosystem that they have inside their homes, whether it is Google or Apple. These are becoming table stakes in terms of the consumer expectations, how it is connected, and Home Assistant as well. Yeah. And we also see this trend with the luxury side as well, right? Where some of these are becoming, what is considered luxury today is becoming table stakes in the next iteration. Yeah. So these are I believe, these are the three technologies that will shape how we do access control these three technologies at the edge, AI at the edge, ultra-wideband with its spatial awareness, and the standards that the Aliro consortium is developing in terms of interoperability, where an Aliro certified phone can communicate with any Aliro certified lock via NFC or Bluetooth LE or ultra-wideband. This standardization is poised to unlock widespread adoption because this is what we did. We saw that in the automotive industry, and we see that that's going to happen with the smart locks as well. And at the edge, you would be able to detect anomalies with putting some machine learning and artificial intelligence at the edge. So it can learn routines. Those things will start coming up in the smart locks, so it will be more intelligent. And in terms of ultra-wideband, you have the precision. So that's the one radio technology that is available to us today that allows us to measure the time of flight, right, precisely and securely. And Apple have been shipping ultra-wideband into their smartphones since iPhone 10. So you have millions of users that are already out there with ultra-wideband enabled phones and watches. And some of you might also have used AirTags. So there are tons of application for ultra-wideband, but I'm going to focus primarily on how it does for our smart lock. Okay, and then the standardization, like what CCC did for the automotive industry with respect to keys. So before that, every OEM had their own protocol, right? And the keys were all very different. Of course, the aftermarket had a good run by replacing keys when you wanted a replacement key, but now it's getting standardized, and it is also about not the standardization of the protocol. It is also the ability to share the key seamlessly, right? So if you're going to, if you want to share a key today, you can simply send an iMessage, and it goes into your Apple or Google wallet, like how we do our boarding passes today, right? And how we do our credit card transactions today. It's going to live on that, the secure element, secure wallet inside your phones, and with ultra-wideband, you can just, you just walk up to the lock. And then you have also the backup option with NFC. So the new keys will have ultra-wideband and the Aliro standardization. The CSA is leading this consortium. It is also backed by pretty much Apple, Google, and every manufacturer and 200 plus companies that are supporting this. It defines common protocols, so any certified phone unlocks any certified Aliro certified lock. And it also supports NFC, tap to unlock, and ultra-wideband hands-free, and probably will also get extended to Bluetooth. Bluetooth also have, I think, channel sounding that will be pretty close to what you can achieve in terms of what's unique about ultra-wideband is it is built into the protocol, the ability to measure precisely, how far or how close you are to the lock, right? And also you can detect whether you are inside or outside, right? So are you in front of the door or are you behind the door? And also it can detect the intent as you approach the door, are you approaching closer towards the door? So it can know you. And of course, the standards use Bluetooth for the connectivity, establishing a secure session, and then the lock and the receiver device, they go on a ranging session, so you know precisely, or you're a meter away from the lock, you unlock the door, right? And how Aliro helps, it's essentially interoperability, standardization. So you have tons of use cases once you have that interoperability. I don't need to have an app if I'm sharing a temporary key with someone that's going to provide a service at my home. This person need not have to download an app. Fingerprints is not going to work because I need to register them ahead of time. But with this standard, we talk the same language. It is like downloading your boarding pass, and also the boarding pass gets updated as you notice, right? So if something changes, you can push those. So if you want to change the time, extend the time, all of that can be done, right? So that's what the standard paves the way for. So you just carry your phone and you can unlock the door. If your phone is not enabled for ultra-wideband, you can tap it, right, with NFC backup. And the other good thing is included in the standard is the ability to prevent battery anxiety on the phone itself. So the spec guarantees you to have enough juice on the battery so the NFC will continue to work even when the phone is dead, right? So that gives you some amount of backup. Of course, it doesn't prevent smart lock the battery draining on the smart lock side, but for consumers who are going to carry only their phone, they can walk up to the phone and still tap if the battery is dead. So then there are tons of use cases I've listed out here, like pretty much every industry. And there is also opportunity to do in a multi-dwelling unit or where you are able to send a digital key ahead of time when somebody signs up a lease, and then revoke those keys when they leave, right? And also combine, like I have access to the door, and the same phone I can also have access to the gym or other common areas where that is secured by a door. So those are use cases that you would see. And then outside our ecosystem, let's say if there is an EV charging where you need to go through a door, if you are part of it, these keys can be, you may be able to do those kind of use cases as well. So there's tons of them that I've listed here. So in terms of why ultra-wideband, we have implemented, approach unlock today, hands-free unlock today with BLE and possibly with some kind of GPS. Like in all of these current algorithms where, if the person is detected as walking away from the home, beyond a certain perimeter, and then they come back and the Bluetooth can unlock, it's not been precise. It's sometimes a hit or miss. And also, since ultra-wideband is not operating in the same frequency, you have the ability, it doesn't interfere with Bluetooth. And also, it uses short pulses for the ranging sessions, so it's not a huge drain on the battery. And you are able to detect intent. You are able to detect whether you are in front of the door or behind the door. So it fits nicely into this use case. Yeah. Okay, and in terms of other technology that will shape up the smart locks is the AI at the edge. The locks can learn the routines. If I'm unlocking the doors, my patterns are like I come home at 6 p.m., that's what happens mostly. And if there is an anomaly, if I show up middle of the night, if you want to challenge them with an extra piece of authentication, those are all possibilities that you can do. And also when it talks with other products in the smart home, let's say if your smart camera detected something critical alert that was classified, the threat was classified as a critical alert, how do you consume that information inside the lock itself? How should you behave? So those can be managed as well. So anomaly detection would be, one thing that we would focus on with the smart locks. Of course, with our other products like security cameras, you would see more of AI on the edge to reduce the false alarms, that was typically triggered by motion alerts. So you would start seeing, object detection and object models, so video analytics models running on the edge itself. And also it paves well, like using AI at the edge allows you to do local processing, and you don't need to necessarily, it doesn't have to go to the cloud, right? And the decisions could be made locally. Yeah. So those are something that we would start to see. And all right, what is Z-Wave's role in the future where you have Wi-Fi, you have Thread, and then Matter, Bluetooth, ultra-wideband. In my mind, the answer is clear. I think this has been reiterated many times over throughout the summit. It is going to be multi-protocol, right? So inside, whether it is your hub or whether it is your smart device at home, they would continue because that's what the consumers want. They don't want to see these, they don't want to see these technologies. Like if you look at, people are very familiar with the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, right? So beyond, people know Bluetooth because they need to connect to their speakers or things like that, so they know that, right? It's the ordinary consumer. My grandma would know, Bluetooth, right? And Wi-Fi because, you are connecting, it's a connectivity protocol that you do. And that's not the case with ultra-wideband. Ultra-wideband is going to be behind the scene, and it is going to help you what it is good at, which is essentially the ranging session, right? It gives you that precise spatial awareness, right? And this could be used for other use cases inside the home, presence detection, right? I can determine how many people are there in the home, and then turn off your thermostat depending on that. Or, unlike a motion sensor, you know exactly, people inside the home, even when you're not moving with ultra-wideband. So that, and also some of the radar functionality in that allows you to measure the number of the breathing of a human, like it can track heartbeats and breathing. So you would find aging in place use cases. Some of the cameras will have ultra-wideband, so I can also monitor, fitted into the bed that can track, monitor an elder, fall detection. So those are applications that ultra-wideband be used. But with our smart locks, we are primarily focusing on approach and lock, intent-based, and working it reliably and securely. Yeah. In terms of Z-Wave's role, it will continue to remain the backbone. It's the workhorse. It's proven with reliability, with the S2 security, and the long range with supporting thousands of nodes. So, it'll continue to thrive, but I believe like we will have to coexist with, other standards that are evolving. Sometimes it's worth talking across the aisle, and see, how we can, integrate, bring in Aliro into this framework. That's something that we would like to explore. As has been reiterated many times, it's going to be multi-radio devices, and that's what the consumers want. We'll continue to build on them. And other strengths being the security and the battery life. I can proudly say that our Z-Wave locks have the longest battery life today compared to everything else that we built today. So those are things that we can leverage and probably invest in terms of energy harvesting. So make that battery last even longer, right? So those would be some strengths. Some of the market signals, you can look at it, the industry is aligning around this vision. Apple, I think I already alluded to this. Apple launched HomeKey, which is what majority of, what is happening with Aliro is based on what Apple built with HomeKey, based on, what they did with the cars, and is now they will soon add support for Aliro, and you'll start seeing ultra-wideband support Aliro into Apple. Google is also integrating, I believe, and it'll soon be available on Android as well as the Wear OS. So it is an unprecedented collaboration with 200 companies coming together to solve this and move forward with a common protocol that will be useful for the whole industry. Okay. So this is a quick, whether it runs. Let me show you. You can see, just a simulation of, how the ultra-wideband, enable smart lock would work for approach. So as you can see, when I'm at a certain distance, the Bluetooth connectivity is already available. We connect through Bluetooth. The connection is established, a secure session is created, and then the smart lock does the ranging. So, as you come closer, I know how far you are, how close you are to the door and you unlock, right? With carrying this momentum, a couple of vendors, including us, we showcased an ultra-wideband based smart lock earlier this year at CES. We would have a production-ready version later this quarter. The Aliro standards are not official yet. Whenever that comes, we'd also include support for that. Yeah. Okay, in terms of recommendations, embrace open standards. Like if I'm building a smart lock today, that's what I would do. I would look at what is evolving and embrace those standards, because both it will gain momentum because it solves a lot of use cases for us, and the interoperability is good for every vendor that is out there. Of course, the ultra-wideband is coming. It will be not just only in this industry, but across several industries. It has its impact, and we believe we are gaining a critical mass in terms of available devices that supports ultra-wideband. So we will see that as well. Leverage AI and edge computing. Whatever devices that we build, there will be you could leverage AI at the edge and at the same time protect the privacy. It doesn't have to leave your home. What you detect, and prioritize security. And that is, we also heard presentations about compliance requirements from European Union and others that are going to enforce security, all of those. So you need to pay for. You cannot. It cannot be otherwise, right? And I think I talked about it. Innovate power solutions. If we can conserve, if I can have a battery, if I can have a smart lock that will work with NFC, home key, tap to unlock, that doesn't need to have a battery, right? It can just harvest energy, small motor, and I can unlock. That'll be a great addition. Yeah. So opening doors to the future, I firmly believe these technologies will shape how we unlock doors, ultra-wideband, and the road ahead with Aliro. And Z-Wave strategic value remains. It's a proven backbone with reliability, and it continues to play that role. And thanks to user credential command class, so we have the ability to support what the people want in terms of biometric security with the smart locks as well. Our commitment, Xthings commitment to Z-Wave ecosystem. So we announced Z-Wave lock a couple of days back with long range, built with Silicon Labs ZG28. We chose that because we believe that we may have to run some machine learning AI algorithms, and also for user credential support with fingerprint and NFC. So that's one of the reasons we went with ZG28. So we are one of the first to certify smart lock with ZG28 silicon in that. So we'd soon be launching a few more locks this quarter, one with fingerprint and also one with NFC and fingerprint, both in the Bolt as well as the latch version. Okay. Thank you for listening to me. If you have questions, I'm happy to take. Yeah.
Oh, there's no microphone. But when I saw you have the Matter and Z-Wave coming to the Lag 7, do you have to choose, or can they do both?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, at this point. Yeah.
At this point, okay.
Yeah. But once you have those hubs that can talk, bridge between Matter and Z-Wave, I believe that'll happen.
Right.
You would start seeing those hubs. Yeah.
Cool. More questions? Come on, Carlos. Any questions? Intelligent questions. All right, so he used to work for me. He can take it. Figure, Andrew. You know I do it because I love
Simple
you.
question. Is that only US students? You on the previous slide, a bunch of different SKUs.
Today we have only US SKUs, yeah.
Failures has it been fully ratified and spec'd out?
Aliro?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
So when was
I think there is a draft spec available. Some of the the vendors are integrating, but it's not made official yet. We expect that to happen this year. Yeah.
We're working on trying to get
Yeah.
Available to our Aliro group members.
Yeah.
It's available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else? I'm here to give away microphones, that's all. All right. Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.